The time is 6:30, so I will call the work session of the mayor and council for the city of Snellville, Georgia, Monday, September 8th, 2025 to order. We have a quorum, everyone is present. So we will go to run through the regular business meeting first. Bobby Howard's going to be here for the invocation. Anyone want to volunteer for the pledge?
Any one of us.
I've read multiple too.
I'll do it.
Good. I've heard you say aye before, I think.
Okay.
Looking at the minutes, just make sure you're including the August 24th military hearings in there as you're following those out. And we've got the rezoning for Tree Lane. Any other issues or anything we need to discuss on that one before the meeting?
Appreciated the comparison chart.
That was good.
Yeah.
That chart.
Jason do that.
Yeah.
Jason.
Jason's not here to compliment him, so wait till he gets.
So
Okay.
it was very
Yeah,
helpful.
that was awesome.
Good.
I like the color.
That was good.
I mean, it made it very easy to
Yeah.
understand.
We do have an item on the consent agenda. There's a new opioid settlement agreement that we'll participate in. It's coming down through the state. It's like six other companies that are settling. Under new business, we have the approval of the contract for the City Hall roof repairs.
Can I ask a question about that? Why did we not have to get bids for that?
Because it's being done as an emergency project.
There's just a couple of things. So emergency project, so the work on the cupola that Parker Young did
Yeah.
a year or so ago was through an insurance claim through GERMA, so that's what I got assigned to them to do. And there are some warranty things on that work that if they're not the contractor, if we are the contractor and they mess something about cupola, then the warranty is voided on that work that we did in the cupola. So there's a little bit of that factor as well.
Okay.
You know, to maintain a warranty of the work we did a year ago.
So it'd be twofold. There's a single purpose person who can deliver the product correctly, and then also emergency.
Okay.
For exceptions.
Well, that all makes sense. I just,
And that's a good
Yeah,
question.
good question.
Yeah, so when GERMA assigned Parker Young to us, we kind of looked at it as anything on that roof is going to be done.
yeah.
We don't
Well,
know.
that,
Yeah.
I understand. That makes sense.
Yeah, avoiding that warranty would be a good thing.
Yeah, very big thing. Very good. Because that roof repair on the cupola was not cheap either.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I gave a tour to the SYC new students this
It's a
weekend,
good way.
and I told them about the issues we had with the cupola. And as we came down the hallway and walked out into the grand, whatever it is on the second floor, I looked over and there's still one paint blister, and I said, "Oh look, that's what I was talking about."
Well, that's from the new problem. That's the new
Oh,
problem.
awesome!
Yeah, that wasn't from the cupola, fixed that, but we're,
And then the coffee stains in the classrooms, I was able to say, "Oh yeah, we're getting a new roof because of that."
yeah.
Ceremony.
Do you know off the top of your head how long that was yet? It's not a big deal, I should say.
Usually it's at least 10 years.
That's what I was thinking.
On the new one going in, it was either 20 or 30 years.
The one from last year.
Oh.
The cupola.
The cupola.
Yeah.
I would
It's
assume,
years.
I would assume if they used the same product, single ply membrane, it's 20 or 30 years.
And then we have the MOU with the Department of Natural Resources for that short-term funding for the community center. Anybody have any questions or concerns on that one?
So I will just say, once we approve that, then we are eligible to submit for reimbursement with the state on the 10 things.
Okay. All right, so now we will move to the work session agenda. Any correspondence? City Attorney's report?
We need a short executive session.
Ongoing projects?
Everybody just refer to your city project update document ready for today. So, town center, things are still moving down there. Taqueria is doing some decor stuff, which I think that they're getting pretty close.
I was in there last week and it looks fabulous.
Yeah, they're moving. They're doing well. Cricket Can is moving too, so they're still targeting October. I wouldn't be surprised if Taqueria is open in October, either with the progress they're making, there. I wouldn't say October 1st, but I would be surprised by Halloween if they're not open as well. Parkside had a milestone, they passed an inspection, so they can cover up all their stuff, which is important, so hopefully, I don't really know if they're doing, but hopefully they're doing
Hopefully we can do that in the next 6 months.
you're paying right on how this motivates you, just get it done, so. They're working, Dumpling Master, same thing. We had to close Wisteria a couple of times for them to connect the gas line that's under Wisteria there, so they're making progress. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're out by October as well. But that's not October 1st, and that's not a map for guarantee. That's just what I'm hearing amongst folks. So it's really more just October, or they're open when they're open, whichever's. So, and then so we're still working through event policies, things. We'll get those to you all as we're finishing that stuff up. But we kind of landed on some branding for the entertainment district that we'll share with you all tonight. And as Mercy's kind of pulling that up, I will tell you that this entertainment district branding, we started with the Grove, as kind of the center. We have specific branding for that. Now we're expanding outside of that, via the, kind of the map with the red lines around it as entertainment district. And at some point in a few years, we will begin branding as downtown Snellville, right? Once their identity kind of comes in. So this will not be the end of our branding exercises, right? And I will tell you that entertainment district branding is not unique. It's going to look different than what you would see from most municipalities because it's meant to be a little more fun. As the city of Snellville, we don't want to encourage drinking, but in the entertainment district, we do, right? So it won't look as civic as our current logos and what you see other folks do.
All
And I'll
right,
let Mercy kind of give a little more explanation there.
thank you. So, Jason, Jan, Brian, Matt, and I have been working over the last couple of months with the graphic designer that we mentioned to y'all. He's done a lot of municipal work, a lot of other creative branding stuff, and we felt confident in choosing him for this project. As part of our preparation as a team, we looked at a lot of different branding examples. I believe Whitehall is in North Carolina, Orlando obviously in Florida. This is actually the city of Winder. So the thing that we saw, and as we talked about, we wanted to represent in our own entertainment district, a lot of vibrancy, a lot of bright colors, as Matt said, not municipal at all. It's not maroon and gold. It's not classic stately 100-year community. It is new and fresh and exciting. And we also had a lot of conversation about what visually represents our downtown and the core of where people are gathering. We kept coming back to our pavilion where we've got programming. We see people enjoying that space on their own, whether they're residents of the Tomlin, people coming and bringing their families with a couple pizzas and hanging out on a Thursday night and then wandering into a concert we've got going on. So we also pulled some color examples from the furniture that we've got out there, and then obviously looking at the mosaic, and kind of kept coming back to this central piece of the pavilion and the tree representing the grove, as well as gathering space and our history as a community. So this is the branding concept that we've landed on and are asking for y'all to kind of let us know what you think. Our graphic designer is on deck to move forward. So we are very far along in the process. There's not really an opportunity to take it all apart unless we want to bring them back to start from the beginning. But we feel that this is very much representative of the energy and excitement that we want to portray. And it's also very usable. We've already been having conversations about the elements within kind of this creative font. The L's look a little bit like arrows. There's good symbolism pointing to the entertainment district, but we could use all of this across both enforcement through the stickers that the vendors are going to be using, but also signage. And we looked at some examples of that and have some ideas. So wanted to show you this concept. We've also talked about using the eyes upside down, kind of look like exclamation points, that being something that we could utilize in talking about the vibrancy. This almost looks like a little bit of a person that's turned sideways. So this is with the eyes as exclamation points. And then just wanted to show you an alternative with the eyes right side up. But our intention is that we would use both of these brands in different settings. So this lends itself a little more to kind of being tucked down in the corner if we're doing a poster or a digital use, maybe on the side of a t-shirt. But they both would work well in a lot of settings that we've talked about, including we could have promotional materials, because really it's about informing folks, having good signage, good enforcement, but it's also about creating some identity and kind of thinking about those rings. You know, we have the Grove at the center and we've got these ripples coming out over time. So this is that next ring of the full entertainment district and down the line, building into the downtown brand and experience.
I like the upside down eye because that way it doesn't stand out as being a lowercase I when I see it. The other way, it's like everything's capitalized except
Exclamation.
so.
Yeah, I do too. It draws your eyes to it.
And I didn't notice that upstairs, but I noticed that when it was big. On
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of those comments, it's taken us several rounds of coming back, putting it up on the screen, looking at it. The reason we put it up on the screen for you instead of printing it out is that the colors just don't truly come out on a printer, but they would if we're working with some vendors to get them on koozies or stickers or those sort of things too, so.
I love the colors.
Yeah, we're excited about them. So we feel really strong about it, and with your blessing, we'll let our graphic designer know. He would then build out a full packet that will give us all the high quality files that we can use over time, and not immediately because it takes time to come up with a signage package, but we'll start to introduce that in terms of delineating where the boundaries are based on the legislation or the resolution and updated map we all passed, and then start working on getting us on some stickers.
Good job.
All right, thank you.
Great job, team.
Yeah.
Good job.
And you may notice that Mercy's wearing her architectural glasses. That is not by design. I'm going to contact this. It's not part of the sell. Although it worked out. All right, well, thank you all for taking a look at that, with us, and we'll kind of move forward with that design. Thank you, Mercy, for sharing that. So just sanitation programming. So we met with Waste Management and with Latham and began to kind of get some feedback from them. They've been our providers of sanitation for quite some time now, and kind of taking that, comparing with what we kind of see other city programs do to come up with some recommendations for you all on the RFP, some of the scope of the RFP. So to give you an example, we are one of the only cities that offer 65-gallon trash cans. Most cities have 95-gallon trash cans and a 65-gallon recycle bin. So, things like that, even to that detail, that would probably be a recommendation. We would say going forward, we need 65-gallon bins. Or sorry, 95-gallon bins, thank you. 95-gallon bins, you can fit 2 or 3 more bags of trash, that sort of thing.
Because David wants to change them out again.
Yeah, that big smile's got a lot of thoughts behind it. But we're going to continue to kind of refine some of that. And, anytime you are evaluating or going out for bid on a major program like this, it's important to look at every aspect of what we're doing and if we want to continue that way or not. So, please don't be surprised if there are several things that we recommend changing that we've done for years, because we think there's a better way for it to be done. But we'll work through all that. We'll make a document with our recommendations, but we just want to give you a heads up of where we stand, on it right now.
Is this something we should do a work session
We can.
so that we can see the details of what's going to be, what's
Certainly.
planned in the RFP and why you got to where you got to?
Sure. We can do it that way. We want to take more time to dig into it and not be rushed on it.
Right.
When I was at the Clean Energy Roadshow, I met one of our citizens who's actually Gwinnett County's sustainability officer.
Interesting.
And one of her recommendations was on our recycling program, instead of making it where we have to sign up every single year and go through that you're just, once you say, I want to be in it, you're in it unless you tell us at the end of that year. So maybe we give you have to cancel by May 1st if you don't want to continue. That,
You're automatically opted in.
yeah. Once you opt in, you're in. And it wouldn't change anything else other than might make your life a little easier, someone's life a little easier.
Yeah, well, we just have to see if we're keeping a card on file to auto charge it.
No, because at that point, you only auto charge for a partial year. After that, it would go on your tax bill, wouldn't it? Well, then we ought to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because that would be a better way to do it.
Yeah, so,
Increase the marketing. Because then you're telling people sign up by May 1st or drop out by May 1st. You're having to communicate more information instead of just sign up.
Well, if you're gonna market, hey, sign up, you're already
Yeah,
sending something.
The first year would be additional marketing.
Right. Yeah, I get the auto renewal thing would be awesome.
Right.
But we also have to have, we just have to see.
Well, it's something that we should put
There's
on
some
a
value-
work session.
there's some value to talk to about, absolutely. And we talked about the recycling program with Waste Management and Latham as well, and they had some thoughts. So, I mean, it's certainly worth discussing further. You know, we certainly don't think that we've got that down perfect. You know, there's obviously room for improvement on anything we do, but.
Should be November 12th.
I'm gonna make it November the 2nd.
Yeah, nice.
Mayor gets paid.
So not much for us to talk about on input on development and guidelines. I know later on in the work session, there's some discussion on some topics related to that. We'll get to package sales. Tony, nothing to the group at this point, right? Okay. Briscoe Park, so they've completed the water main connection, which is good. So they'll begin demolishing all the old water main that would be under the building. We're working toward a slab pour by the end of the month. We had a good discussion with GMA on loan, on the financing for the project, and we'll be providing you guys all more information as we kind of move through that. They're going to create a roadmap for us on kind of start to finish on that process. So we'll share all that when we get it. But the initial meeting was positive. Jay sat in on there with us. So as we get more information, I'll share it with you. North of Wisteria, so the sewer work has begun. They've begun at the corner of United Community Bank right there. They're doing the bore under the road. So there will be no open cut of Wisteria, so it's much safer, better, that way for folks. So hopefully they'll be done with the bore by Wednesday, which would be good, and then you're kind of fitting the pipe through the little channel, whatever. Tube. The casing, that's the word I'm looking for. The casing that you step up. There. So they'll put the casing in so that the sewer line will kind of be embedded in the casing under the road. And then we'll come back up to a manhole on the other side, there, which is good. And then AT&T utility relocation work has begun.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Believe it, baby.
I saw the two AT&T trucks out there,
Yeah,
and I
Now, how fast
did
will we
not
go?
dare to hope that it meant that they might be
So
working
they
somewhere
have-
in Snellville.
Yeah, so they
Sitting in our parking lot.
So they have their sub, a company called Ansco, who comes in and puts the conduit in. The conduit really is just this reinforced orange tube that the fiber actually goes in. So Ansco finished up their conduit work today, I think, and we expect AT&T to be out this week or next to start some of the initial work, and they'll start cutovers, what they call cutovers, changeovers, which is basically just taking the service lines from the old service to the new service, the old fiber to the new fiber, wherever's relocated. So we will keep you posted on how that's going, but it's been moving, which is good. And then just property tax, so nothing on the .gov crossover, that is moving as we discussed last time. Property tax billing, so we have received the digest from Gwinnett County, so it's been approved by the state, given back to the county, now it's to us, so now we're doing our internal process, on that. Given that we're what is it, a month behind? We're a month behind. So the goal was September 15th, we're a month past that. So we probably need to push to January 15th instead of December 15th for the bills to be due by. What we are, trying to determine with the county is with House Bill 581. There's another bill, is it House Bill 92 or Senate Bill 92? House Bill 92. We don't know if the county knows if this kind of shift in timing is going to be permanent. Should we kind of expect now that January 15th will be our new due date because of all the requirements that pushes them down a month? Or if this is kind of a one-off because of the initial implementation of all these new requirements that the county had to kind of figure out as they were going under the pressure of getting all these all these digests for all these cities in the county all put together. So we're trying to get an answer. So I guess what I'm saying is this might be a one-off, or this 1 year we have a January 15th deadline and we go back to our normal December 15th. We just don't know that yet. So we're trying to get that information from the county on what we can expect going forward. So we'll let you guys know when we are able to get an answer, but Melissa's been asking. And I don't know if even they know yet, honestly. This is their first year of trying to kind of get this all worked out. So it may take them a year or two to get a new routine, down. So it was the cards that we've been dealt there. So we'll do the best we can with it. And that's all I have.
All right, next we have item B, discussion about EV chargers for new residential and commercial projects. Mayor Pro Tem Lambert.
When I went to the, over at Gwinnett Tech, there was the Clean Energy Roadshow put on by Tim Apple's PSC member, and heard about all the different clean energy alternatives, particularly for transportation. And with electric vehicles, they mentioned the fact that we are up to 74,000 charging stations in the United States, and there's only 144,000 gas stations in the United States. So look how close we are. And I was going, yeah, but you can only charge one car at a time in each of those. So yeah, quick trip. I think they can do 20.
On a quick trip, 158 bucks.
So in talking to the people there, the biggest issue is there are 3 different levels currently of chargers. There's level 1, which is you just plug it into a wall outlet. Takes the rest of your life to charge. There's level 2, which is 240 volt, and it's basically like your washing machine or your dryer, I guess your dryer if you have an electric dryer, that sort of power, and it takes 8 to 12 hours typically to fully charge. And then there's level 3 chargers. Level 3 chargers are the ones that can take you from 20% to 80% in about 20 minutes. And so as we move forward, we don't have any requirements in our code currently for multifamily or commercial projects to have any electrical chargers at all. And I think it may be something we want to look at, requiring level 3 chargers in multifamily in particular, because last thing you want is for there to be one charger out there that Norman would have to sit on for 20 hours to get his car charged, or people running extension cords out to the parking lot. Maybe something we want to look at, maybe not. but it came out of going to that seminar.
Did that subdivision that we visited have those chargers inside the garage?
Which one? The
one over in Sugarloaf.
Yeah.
I can't remember, the one we were in.
I think they did.
Yeah.
But, yeah, on something like that, I think then that's up to the builder, on
Right.
whether they're gonna go ahead and install that.
Right.
Or not, and it's just, something else to factor into the cost of the house.
Yeah, and
I
that's.
think it's more on an apartment complex, and then, but I guess my question is, would that be something, do we feel like we need to regulate and have in the code that there's a minimum amount or a minimum standard? Or do you think that going forward, anybody building multifamily, like a big apartment complex has gonna have to go ahead and put in just by the nature of
Well,
the
and
market?
The market's already providing them and they're pretty much over.
yeah, and I don't know which level chargers we have in our parking deck.
Right,
I think they're probably level 2, which may be just fine. I have no idea.
yeah.
Like I said, it's just something for us to consider and look at. Maybe rather than requiring it, there's some sort of,
Encouragement.
yeah, there's some sort of benefit they get.
Charging plan.
Yeah, in order to, but I don't know.
Yeah,
But it's just something to bring before you all.
yeah, I think we should be thinking about it. I think that's a good thing to bring
But
forward.
the coolest thing that came out of that was the fact that natural gas is one of the most efficient ways to fuel big trucks. Like our waste management company uses natural gas powered vehicles. And here in Georgia, by the end of the year, we're going to have 6 natural gas manufacturing plants which take cow manure and chicken manure and turn it into natural gas. And our good friends in California buy carbon offsets and actually pay for the cost of those programs. And so we're actually getting a negative carbon imprint from these gas plants. So I thought it was pretty neat. And
Have we ever looked into putting chargers at Bristol Park? Do we have any there?
I don't think I know we don't have it.
I've never seen them.
I mean, if we're gonna continue to push for sports tournaments, having a couple pay to charge,
Yeah,
people are driving in from,
from far away.
South Georgia.
yeah,
They'll pay to charge for 20, 30 minutes to be able to get home.
Good idea.
and that's something that we have to work with Walton EMC on, because the infrastructure to run
Right.
those,
Yeah, I know that's not.
particularly if you go above a level 2
Right.
charger.
We need to be built in.
Yeah, well, you gotta bring in bigger case.
So we gotta tear up the park again.
No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that.
Okay. Item C, the Snellville Youth Commission change proposals. Councilmember Linsky.
Last week, we had an excellent piloting really of some of the changes that I wanted to make. Everything went beautifully. The advisory board meeting was very productive, ran very smoothly. We've done the background check process, working with the PD for that. New board's going great, new codes are ready. I circulated those, I think, to everyone for last comments, didn't receive any, so the next step is consulting with the attorney, so we'll try to get that on the agenda for the 22nd. Also for September 22nd meeting, I will be asking the mayor to swear at the kids. So we'll have them all
Swear
here.
in, not at.
Swear in.
She has She has jet lag, so you gotta,
Okay.
she looks too excited about that.
So that will, and ask,
Jason told me he prefers to be jet lagged, so.
Well, I said I like the little on-ramps. Gates that work. Like the hammer.
and I'll ask that be moved up to the beginning of the meeting as a courtesy to the parents and the students, so that they can be on their way. And just letting you know that's coming up. Everything's moving along very well. We had our first student meeting on Saturday. It was excellent. Great kids, great process. I appreciate all of your input as we have gone through the changes, and I think it's going to be highly effective as we move forward.
Good. Very good. All right, we'll go to item D, discussion about town green committee progress. Councilmember Carter.
Town green, town green, town green. We had a very productive meeting. It started off with Todd giving us a Google Maps demonstration of from 2015 until today of the gradual deterioration. And then if that wasn't enough, we took a walk over all some of the road. But it's in terrible shape. I mean, I never noticed it before that much. It's really bad. Thanks to David Mitchell, we've had some short-term steps that are being done right now as far as placing sod. I think at the entranceway, you're going to place plywood planks for vehicles that have to drive in, maybe.
Once the sod's
Once the sod's set. Yes.
just temporarily, so when vehicles come in, they'll drive on something so they're soil-less.
We also, and I have the list, I have it at home, dates when the farmer's market will stop using the green, and also dates on the concert season, when they will end. And quite possibly, after January, February, we're going to do some, David and the public works are going to be doing some serious work, aerating and sodding, and hopefully that's going to hold up for a while. But long term, we really may have to make some uncomfortable decisions about what we're going to do with that town. And I think we're going to meet tomorrow or
A week.
next week, week from tomorrow. We'll be meeting and get a progress report and get back to you before it comes out.
Any questions? All right, so that ends all of our regular business, and we've got a short exec session. During the work session of the mayor and city council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Bender announced that certain matters should be discussed in a closed session. The meeting